and Thailand. It may be an example of cultural symphony that the Pali, the language of the Theravada teachings of the Buddha, traveled to Thailand with the canon of the Buddha and served as the medium of the intellectual communication on Thailand soil for centuries. Now I am coming to the second part of my presentation, the Sangiti Vansu, which is being edited in Roman script. Now we have seen that how these linguistics expressions have been changed in Thai language, and some of the Thai terms have been inserted in composing these texts. And in their linguistics expressions also, whenever they are expressing, they cannot pronounce dot, 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 they are writing in their own way of writing, you can say. But it becomes difficult. Yesterday also, I seen that when Alex was presenting his paper, in Pali text, everywhere we are finding the term Pathavi or Arammana, like these terms. But in Myanmar, Pathavi has become Pathavi and Arammana has become Alammana. So there are some of the changes, linguistics changes when it goes from one country to another country. So this is the Sangiti once I am going to read some of the passages, and where there are the changes in the sound of the, you can say, Pali terms, I will come to the. So first of all, I will start the text, Namasan Katha. विशुद्ध वंशम पवरम च बुद्धम विशेष खेमम विमलम च धम्मम विशुद्ध शीलम अभिवंदी संघम करोमि संगीतीय वंश नामम. So this is the Namasan Katha. Then it starts Arambh Katha, you can say. And in the Arambh Katha, it starts about the concept that why he is composing this text. Then Sankhep Katha, in a very brief manner, he is discussing about the Patham Sangiti, Dutiya Sangiti, Tatiya Sangiti, and Chatut Sangiti, like that. So this is the, you can say, lastly, Ayam Sankhepo. So this is, here there is the end of the, you can say, Sankhep Katha. Now Bithar Katha starts. And we have just now discussed about the sources of the Bithar Katha, that from where the author of the text Sangiti Vansa has taken this Bithar Katha. So see here, the highlighted in yellow from S10 to S16. So see, these highlighted portions have been taken from, you can say, Dhammapad Atkatha. So these are the highlighted portions which have been taken directly from the Dhammapad Atkatha. So this is the, you can say, quotations. And regarding the finding the sources, Dr. Ujjwal Kumar is working a lot on this, and he is expert in, you can say, making the references of that from where the, you can say, passages have been taken. So he is working on this, giving the references of all these things. So see here how the sounds are changing in Thai text, this Sangiti Vansa. See the verse Nibutta. So here I am giving the corrected form in the above, you can say. And what the, you can say, it is available in the Sangiti Vansa, I am giving in the footnotes, you can say. So see how the words are being pronounced. Nibutta nuna samata, nibutto nuna sopita, nibutta nuna sa nari, yasayam idiso pati. So this has been taken from Dhammapada Atkatha, volume 2, 50, Jatak Atkatha, Buddhavansa Atkatha, Apadan Atkatha. These are the sources which have been, you can say, found by Dr. Ujjwal Kumar, and he is still working on the sources of this text. So see how the words are changed. Nibutta. The correct form in Pali is the Nibutta, but the author Sangiti Vansa, Banaratan Bimaladhamma, he has put Niputta. Since Ba is being influenced by the first letter of the same group, Pa, so here it is Niputta. In the same way, Niputta Nuna Sa Mata Nibuttu. The second you can say here Niputtu. The you can say Sangiti original Siamese text gives the. So I have given that how the pronunciations have been mistakenly. The author, which they cannot pronounce this Nibutta, they are pronouncing is Niputta. So they are putting those Thai, you can say, words in the composition of the text. I will give you some of the examples. I'm just behind the time, you can say, only 5-10 minutes I will complete it. So see, in the next, how this Chal Bassani, Bassani, here 6 you can say. The footnote is the Cha, but in the text it has been given Bassani. But if you go through the text, we are not able to understand that what is the literal meaning of Bassani. But here in the text, original text, if you go through the Dhammapad Atkatha or Buddhavans Atkatha, then we are finding that it is, you can say, Bassani. So 6 years you can say. So it is very difficult to put the corrected form of this Sangiti Vansa because we are not very much aware of this pronunciation of the Thai words in Thai text. Like another term, you can say Suvarna Patim. Here, Suvarna, Ana is not pronounced in, you can say Thai, so it has been given in Suvarna Jatim like that. So these are the variations how they have been, you can say, put here. So we are still working on the sources from where these passages have been taken. Sometimes the author of Sangiti Vansa is very much clever and he does not give that from where it has been taken. But going through the passage on the internet, it becomes clear that from where the text has been, you can say, taken by the author. So next is the I will give you some of the examples like Bhikkhunanam 27. So here 27, it is not available in the Dhammapad Atkatha, but the author Sangiti Vansa, Banaratan, has put here Bhikkhunam. But I have put in the main text of the, you can say, Sangiti Vansa. In the same way, 26th also, Ajivakena, this term is also not available, but the author has put here. In the same way, Payetva 29, if you see that another in the Dhammapad Atkatha, the word is available, Amat Panam Payento. So Dhammapad Atkatha adds these two terms there in the text, you can say. Again, so we are putting the things which are available in the other commentaries in the footnotes, as well as we are correcting the main text, what the author of the Sangiti Vansa has put in the main text. So the correct form are in the, you can say, main passage, and in the footnotes we are giving the variations available from the other sources. So again, see the 35 Sangayana Pucha Visajjana. So it is available in the Sanjukta Nikaya, volume 2, 73. So this is the, you can say, variations which are available. So here if you see that in the Siamese text 18, that it is written, Bhalik Jatile Binetva Ehi Bhikkhu Bhavena Pabajittetva Gayasi se Nisadapetva Adit Sutta Here Aditya Sutta, now it is available in the, you can say, Samyukta Nikaya. So some things we are putting in the footnotes. So this is the main, you can say, text how we are working, and where there are, you can say, variations, and from where the first Buddhist council, third Buddhist council, and second Buddhist councils, which are available. So see here in the on the page 11. So here there is a footnote 36 here in the Patham Sangiti Katha Buttam Mahavanse. So here that's Satya Sahasani Tesu Pamukha Abhikhave Thero Mahakassapocha Sanga Thero Tadahu Sarira Dhatu Kichani Sattu Thero Pi Kayarati. So this is the, you can say, Tatya Pariched of Mahavansa Patham Dhamma Sangiti Gatha 4-5. So we are putting, this is the style of editing the text. I am putting before the scholars so that they can give suggestions in editing of the text. How can we improve, you can say, giving the editing, correct edition of the Sangiti ones. So like that, in the next 38, if you see, Mamachayena Satthati. So now the reference has been given, that is the Dikha Nikaya, volume 2, 154 page number. So this is the giving, so from where this passage has been taken, we are putting in the footnotes. So like that, I have see the next passage in the 44 and 46. So how this Sukha Pavakati Khena Mahavansa, that is the 12th verse. So this is the style of writing. We are having only 15 minutes. I am leaving before the, you can say, for asking the questions and discussion on this aspect. So this is the style of writing, you can say. So here, first Sangiti, Dutiya Sangiti, and Tatiya Sangiti has been given, you can say. So altogether there are, you can say, 31 pages. So here iti Sangiti Vans Kate Jammu Deep Sangiti Nideso Nam Patmo Parichedo. So thank you very much. So if you have any suggestions in editing of the text, or you can say whatever I have presented in the first part. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Professor, for this presentation. I have a question, or maybe something to suggest maybe about these Thai manuscripts or Southeast Asian manuscripts. I think some people, please correct me if I'm wrong, they've been using the term Indo-Chinese Pali for this sort of quote, quote, corrupt way of writing Pali. But from the philological point of view, some people believe that these are not actual variant readings. So when we are editing, we should simply ignore these practices as maybe scribal mistakes or confusions. Maybe sometimes someone was dictating, not necessarily, but it could be, and then the Thai pronunciation would affect the writing of the scribe. So, and especially because in this case we have parallels already edited, then one possible solution that some people would prefer is simply to ignore all these variants, do not overload the critical apparatus with these variants, but perhaps in the introduction of the edition, explain this situation as you have done very well in the first part of the paper, and then take it for granted. It's like, we know that the original of this text contains many of these cases, but we don't need to overload the critical apparatus. That would be one option. The other option that I don't find wrong at all, but some people find it very wrong, would be to actually to represent the corrupt reading in the edition. That's one. It's like then some people would prefer that, and you call it the Indo-Chinese Pali. That's how Pali is written in those areas. We don't necessarily need to call it wrong Pali. That would be another option. In that case, also the critical apparatus would not be overloaded because basically you don't consider them as wrong forms. So in both these cases that I suggest, we would avoid this overloading of the critical apparatus, which is always a good thing when you are reading. But obviously there are other options, but in my experience, these two are the ones that generally scholars choose between.
No, thank you very much, Alex. So problem is that if you put the same thing, then what is the role of an editor? And the people will ask that what you have done new thing in that edition of the book. The same thing has been, you can say, put. Then what is your main contributions? So until unless for the readers, for the sake of the readers, they should at least know the correct form of the Pali text. That is why there is a need of, you can say, and even you are associated with the Thailand Pali, you can say, Tipitaka project. And you will find that there are so many text of and commentaries from the Thailand, from Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and the Thai. All are, you can say, collated, they are transcribed, and then they are finally edited. So this is the best way of editing. Although it takes time, it is a very strenuous work, and it needs time also. But until unless you do not do, how can be a contribution of an editor?
So what are actually the sources of this edition? What are the, so is it based on one printed edition?
Yes, one printed edition.
One.
I told you that the original text was also lost in Sangiti once. And then the King Ram, one of, you can say, Thailand, in 1921, he tried to search this text. Then he requested the King of Cambodia. And the King of Cambodia had the copy of those books at that time. Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand, they are having, you can say, good relations at that time. So Cambodia gave 2 books. Then finally in 1923, this Sangiti Vansa was edited with the Thai translations, and then it was published with the royal decree of.
And there are no manuscripts of.
There are no original manuscripts.
Were they
Original manuscripts are not available in Thailand.
Were they actually books when he got them, or were they manuscripts at that time in the 1920s?
23.
Was it a book that originally printed as a book, or was it in manuscript tradition
I
at
don't
that
have much
time?
idea because I got the book, you can say photocopy of that book from the National Museum, Bangkok. So it was published in 1923, and they are available nowadays in National Museum. They are also not available in the market.
But it's in Thai script, yeah?
Thai script.
So your contribution is to put it into Roman and use a certain methodology when you do that, and Alish is offering you a couple options that make it sort of more approachable,
Yes.
right? I mean, it's not like you're not making, I just think it's not a thing to say you don't make a contribution. You're making a contribution, you're making a choice when you
Yes.
do that transliteration, and, you know, and that's a methodology you can either choose to follow or not, right?
Now, when we have started, then we will continue this methodology. Let us see what happens.
But I think
Professor
there is
Asanga.
another aspect to this, because it's a very important aspect and also sensitive thing. I think it is not only how Thai and Burmese pronounce. If I'm not mistaken, this Dhammayuttika and Mahanikaya, I think they are divided basically on this, issue, right? Because the Sri Lankan pronunciation considered to be correct by, I think, Dhammayuttika, and they adopted that, and then others do that. I think we need to be sensitive to this, because perhaps there might be opposition to correct these things. You know, I mean, I would consider something like if there are such places, within square bracket or something, you can put the standard, the Pali pronunciation, like, how we do that. Because very often when we associate with Burmese, I know that they can't say Pindapata, they say Pindapata. So just to double na. But of course, they don't write like that. So then, but here, also to write it in that manner, I think there is a kind of ideological and historical fact behind it. So they might oppose that, saying that, no, this book was written by Mahanikaya monk, who accepted this. So what is the right you have to, I think, I don't know, but I think that is something you need to look at.
And that may be one suggestion that I can put the correct form in the bracket of the, after the term, you can say. But regarding the verse, it does not look nice you put the Pali corrected form if there is a wrong form there. So I will think over it, I can do whatever it has been put in the footnotes, we can put in the, you can say, brackets also. That can be done.
I had maybe one. I was sort of reminded when you were talking about the classic story of Buddhaghosa translating the commentaries from Sinhala, right? I mean, it's actually, we were recently looking at the colophon, one of the colophons in which it's discussed how that happened, and it's actually, like, the way it's framed is really not as translation as it's often discussed, but it's the term apetvana is used, right, like to take out. And it says the Deepa Bhasa was taken out and the commentary was restored. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's actually might have been a context very much like that. We actually don't know, of course, it's speculative, but it could very well have been a context precisely like this that Buddhaghosa was involved in when he just it was some kind of Sinhala Pali with many of the words looking more Sinhala or something, or he just sort of fixed it back into the Magadhi or whatever. And so that's, again, it's a methodology that Buddhaghosa used, right? So it's a long history of sort of editorial practices that one could do in that way. Anyway,
Thank
I just
you.
thought it fits.
Thank you for, there are some questions.
That's right.
Okay, one question. So this test is a Pali test or Thai language test? Which kinds of test?
No, this is Pali text.
Pali is
available.
Pali. We should know
Language
Pali is
the
Pali, Thailand is Thailand, Sanskrit is Sanskrit. We should know clearly. We know grammar, Kichara, Sadaniti, etc. So, Jina Vachana Yogdanhi, whatever grammar coming, we should know according to Buddha Vachana, Jina Vachana Yogdanhi. So that's why I want to suggest you do Nebuddha, something like this. This is not much special. Everybody know, no Nebuddha, according to the Mahabharata. Okay? So that's why Pali is Pali. We should know clearly. Don't follow, Nibbana, Nirvana, Samadhi, Indians say, Sama, Shruti. Something like this. We should know this is come from Sanskrit. This is the come from Pali. This is the come from Myanmar. This is the come from India. This is come from Thailand.
This is a very ancient Burmese view. Agamamsa is also very, he said,
No,
don't
we
pollute
should
Pali.
know. Ato ekra sinya do. Jina wachana yodan hi. Don't follow. Many things. You say Burmese people, Alamana do, Alamana. No, Burmese say, according to grammar, do, does, such. La and ra, we can change. Okay?
That is suitable to our, you can say, tongue,
So
and
something like
when
this.
you pronounce the word which are
How to
suitable.
edit without knowledge or grammar? How to edit this book?
Okay.
So no solution.
Okay,
Thank you.
let me, Professor Brahmananda Kumar, I mean, I just would like to ask you, I mean, are there any efforts to check in the, with this Cambodian, archive, whether do they have, I mean, the copy of the Sangitya Mansa still?
It
Do
is
they-
not available to the common people.
No, but in Cambodia, because basically
Yes,
it
in
came
Cambodia also, I am telling you.
It
I
is there.
try to find out with some of my, you can say, friends there, but it is not available. I think maybe in the Royal Museum, the original text is available, which was provided to the King of Thailand in 1921. And then this text was composed, you can say, 1923.
from, okay. No, because I think that would be interesting to check and compare. And also if you could really see what in the original.
That is why we are going to the original sources, that from where the
Yeah,
original...
no, I mean, that's okay, but that is one approach to
Huh.
kind of compare and I adjust the text according to the original sources. But, you know, many of the times these sources are just quoted